But first, we begin with highlights from Sunday night's opening keynote.
Your voice matters. Not only does your voice matter, it can be heard around the world. ISTE continues to expand its global reach, and this year is no different. We are proud now to have 80 global affiliates and ISTE ambassadors in Asia, Australia, the Middle East, Canada, the UK, and South America. There are 62 non-US countries represented at the conference this year. Welcome, everyone.
What unites us here today is our shared commitment to transforming public education for this century and expanding the opportunity to learn with the help of new and emerging technologies for every person, regardless of zip code. I stand here today with one message: your work matters. It matters as you design new solutions. It matters when you engage in hackathons, plugfests, data jams, startup weekends, maker fairs, or design challenges. Your work matters every time you share, here at ISTE, at meetups or tweetups, or by blogging, speaking, or helping the teacher next door. Your work matters as you design fresh learning opportunities, new assignments, new challenges, new interactions with students, leveraging technology because the world has changed and what they need to know and be able to do has evolved. Your work matters as you personalize the learning environment so that every single student has a chance. You are the innovators, the risk takers. You keep your ear to the ground, your eyes on Twitter. You click on the link, you read, you think, you listen, you engage, you personify learning.
All kinds of things have happened just in technology in the past 10 years. I mean, 10 years ago, there were no iPads, there were no iPods, were there? iTunes was still a kind of faint idea. There were no smartphones of any sort. There were no social media, really, 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, there was no Facebook. There was no Twitter. I mean, 10 years ago, people didn't tweet, did they? I mean, if they did, they were discouraged. Weren't they? People would say, what was that? You know, do you mind not doing that? And if you have to do it outdoors. We're trying to eat in here, you know. But now, suddenly, it's a kind of social commitment. You have to tweet, otherwise you're kind of out the fray. Well, that's just in 10 years. But if you look at the arc of technology over the past 50, of course, it's exponential. And if you look at the booths and exhibitions around this conference, well, you'll know that the next 10 years are probably less predictable than the past 10 years were.
Schools are being left behind, particularly in mobile learning. So, 6 years ago, Qualcomm developed an initiative called Wireless Reach. Wireless Reach supports a number of research-based pilot studies that focus on mobile learning and help to drive a 21st century skills environment in and out of the classroom.
When we see, for example, expanding student horizons, I agree, but let's ask, why do we want to expand them? Not just because they're bigger. My view is so that the students can find their passion. They can see a wider place to look. When we see things like encouraging students' passion to achieve, we have to think, well, do we mean that achievement is everything and passion is kind of down there? Or do we mean, in my view, that passion is what we have to do first, and that's what's going to lead us to achievement?
It was during my years actually on Blossom when I was a teenager that I had an amazing teacher. I had a tutor who was then a student at UCLA, and as anyone who's a teacher or an educator knows, it can literally take one teacher to make a difference, and I am blessed to have had one person in my life who took the time and had the patience and really showed me the beauty of a life as a scientist. And I was 15 years old when that happened, and I'm forever grateful to her.